Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to be doing a reaction and review to BiSH with Monsters, which is something I'm really excited about doing. I say doing, this is actually a review that was filmed a month ago, and I'm about to skip back to that footage a month ago before our previous channel got deleted. Anyway, the format was different then from how it is now, so just be aware that I'm going to give you my full review on this video. If you want to see the reaction segment though, you need to click the link in the description below, and that'll take you to a separate player that will show you the reaction segment. Otherwise, this video will take you straight through to the review. Anyway, enjoy, watch, and I'll go back to that old footage for you to see now. This was filmed a month ago. There you go. Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be checking out a little bit more of BiSH. And when I say a little bit more of BiSH, this is a bit of a strange one, because actually, technically, 1 year ago, I did review this song, but I reviewed it live. It was the first ever BiSH song that I did a reaction to. And I must admit, the live recording I heard was not very good quality. It gave me a good idea for sort of the whole feel of the band, and it was interesting, but having no context, I wasn't really able to give a proper review. And looking back at it, I don't think my review of it was very good. So this is one where I definitely wanted to check out again, and just for some reason I just never kind of got directly around to it. And here we are a year later listening to Monsters by BiSH, which I believe is an older one. So we're going to see it with the official music video this time, and also get a feel, as this is one of their older ones, I get the feeling it's going to go in more of a controversial direction, because you know, that's kind of, they came from that whole BiSH camp, and as you guys know, I'm not against BiSH, but I've struggled a little bit to get into BiSH because I get the feeling on the whole element of being controversial and being musical, they tend to lean a little bit more towards the controversy than they do towards the musicality. But this is not that they're bad, I've got to check out more of their music. BiSH certainly, though, have always been really musically interesting for me, regardless of any sort of image things. And so Monsters is, like I say, one of the older ones, though. It kind of leans more in that direction. Like I say, the only thing I really remember about this song directly is that it kind of had like a bit of a heavy feeling. It kind of went somewhere into a little bit of a rave territory, kind of somewhere rave, somewhere rock, somewhere pop, all at the same time. So expecting, you know, all those heavier sounds to really sound nice and fleshed out in the recorded version. But anyway, here we are so much time later, and we're going to check this out and see what we can get from it, and see if it is everything that a year waiting should make it be. So I'm just getting it on the screen now. This is the good thing about this channel. We are so technically able that we don't edit anything and don't line videos up properly. And there we go. It's ready to go now. Pretend that didn't happen. Okay, Monsters by BiSH. That was really interesting. You know, I kind of, like I said, I wish I'd heard them the other way around, but I'm not gonna beleaguer that point. What was really interesting here? It was a lot of things are really interesting. This is one of those ones we got a lot to unpack, to be honest. What really came across to me, first of all, if we're talking about the difference between this and what I'd already heard, like I say, I was just hearing it much more full. You know, hearing the full power of it. I do think that in the verses that more thick and full sound that you can get from the studio recording helped, in that you could really feel the body of everything. You know, you could really feel the balance. When the kicks came in, there was a real feel of the bounce. You know, you could sort of move with the beat. Certainly that bit where it goes from the pop beginning to the big scream and everything starts, that's much more impactful, obviously. As much as you can throw yourself into doing it live, when you hear it on the recording and it's filling your headphones properly, that's always going to have a little bit more punch. I guess if you were actually at the live concert, but you know what I mean. Like I say, the double kick drum bit of the chorus was strange, because I like the chorus melody. The chorus melody is good. It's actually quite catchy. It's not like the most catchy song ever, but it's definitely catchy enough to be warranting a single. However, I don't think the double kick thing worked. The double kick thing to me felt a little bit like it was to try and you know, push the narrative, the feeling that this is like a heavy rock song, an angry song, because I mean, this is something where, to be honest, just a few little tweaks away from just being just a normal pop song, really. I mean, most of the stuff that makes this sound heavy is very much sort of surface, like I say, the use of the guitars, the kick drums and everything. It's not like some of their other more recent songs where they have actually been genuinely like heavy metal style writing. This one has a nice balance between pop and rock, and I think that maybe the double kick drum thing, it kind of worked, but maybe it could have worked if the rest of the arrangement had given it more room. Like I say, the problem with a double kick drum is if it's going to work at all, it's really got to be impactful. Each note, you've got like a small space between each kick. You've got boom, 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 boom. And every little space between has to be enough of a lift. The sound has to go away enough that you feel the impact of each kick. I mean, for example, let's put it this way. If I was to go and, have we got like something, I'm just going to use my computer. Hopefully don't break it. If I was just to knock on this, it's fine. You can hear it. If you imagine me doing exactly the same thing, but at the same time, someone's sitting in the corner playing an electric guitar really loud, or someone is, or there's a baby crying or something. I did that. Would have much less impact because the little spaces between the notes wouldn't be spaces anymore. This is me trying to do a bit of basic music theory here, but for any sound which is gonna be kicking or punching, choose your word, kick for a kick drum, I guess, it needs to be able to punch through properly. And here, the guitar was so low and growly, which was working great in the verse, where the kick drums were more separate and the beat was more sparse. It was so growly in the choruses that the kick drum didn't really feel like it had any distinction, and that's why I think a more sparse, if keeping that same sort of slower beat, more sparse, bouncy beat from the verse would have worked quite well in the chorus as well, because with all of that happening, you needed the kick drum to punch through and sort of cement itself when it was there. And when it's happening really quickly, it's harder for it to have the same impact. So for me, yeah, the chorus didn't hit as much as I wanted to, despite having a really good vocal line, a good melody. So basically, this was a good song. It was a good song. I think it slightly scuppered its concept, didn't quite achieve what I think they were setting out to do, but this is an earlier song. They were still getting good. I mean, they weren't quite at the dizzying heights of formula blurring that they're at now, but this was a really good starting point. I think this shows them going in the right direction. A quick comment on the video. The video seems a little bit disjointed in that I'm not 100% sure. I mean, the ending didn't explain how they ended up in the back of a truck unless that was supposed to be them after being blown up, but you'd think for a band so willing to show disturbing imagery, the fact that they were in no way charred by an explosion is kind of strange. But yeah, it did lean a little bit towards the BiSH territory of being deliberately trying to be a bit shocking, sort of like it had that again, I don't want to sound like I'm just insulting it, but I'm just being sort of playfully honest here. It had that feeling of like, if you get like a film student, say, make a controversial music video, what are they going to do? It's like, let's have some male-female violence and blood and explosions and mixture of, military and ballet to show the contrast in things. It's very sort of on-the-nose type imagery. Yeah, call me a sissy. I don't really like seeing any violence towards women. It's just, feels a little bit uncomfortable, but they didn't play it off in a particularly graphic way. It wasn't like they were trying to be shocking. It felt a bit more playful, so I could kind of let that slide. But I did like some things about it. I like the idea that the song is really only at any point performed by like the drill sergeant. He's the one who's performing the song. He's the one who's shouting to the lines of the music. I thought that was a cool little touch there. I like the fact that the girls were clearly having fun making this, going crazy. I suspect that this probably took like a couple of hours. I mean, the setup would have been more, but a couple of hours to film, because most of it was filmed in slow motion, them just running across an area of ground, which probably was done in maybe 1 or 2 takes, and then just them standing in the room being shouted at, and then a quick bit of carefully choreographed fight scene. So it was a very simply done video, but it seemed to work. It served its purpose. It was a little bit edgy, but it wasn't like at any point. It was just kind of it was functional, and again, to me, it demonstrates that they were coming from a place of doing something interesting, but it also shows how far they've come, that they've managed to go into doing slightly more crazy things, but using, shall we say, slightly less obvious tropey forms of shock value. So, to me, this works. It's a good thing. I like that it represents a nice demonstration of where they've come. I really hope I'm getting this right. I mean, everything I've read shows that this is a much older song. If it's not, then yeah, I think this is a really good indication of where they come from, and I think it's a nice starting point. It shows a lot of the values that they've really honed over time, and I don't think it holds up badly. I think it holds up okay. It just kind of pales by comparison to some of the stuff that they've done subsequently, which, like I say, is musically a little bit more clever at mixing its ideas, videos that tend to be a little bit better at balancing their themes, and overall it just seems that they've become a little bit more unique than they were at this point. But still, good stuff. Definitely worth a listen, and I think would stand up for re-listens, although you would be maybe putting a more recent song on the playlist afterwards. Anyway, as always, get in the comments, tell me what you think. This is all about the objective and the subjective. Music is only as good as you enjoy it. So please get in the comments, tell me what you think, and let's discuss it honestly, give our opinions, say why, all the usual things. If you want to go into discussing music all the time with us, remember that our social media links are in the description below, along with our Reddit for suggestions. If you want to give song suggestions and you don't want me to accidentally miss them, that's the best place to do it, on the Reddit suggestion thread. And other than that, to be honest, thank you for our Patreons. Patrons who keep the channel alive, who keep the lighting, the posters, all of this stuff working, and the nice microphone and all that thing. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Until I see you soon on the next video. For now, from Japan, ciao ciao.